Today, the nation paused to mark 1 year since the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Hundreds of people took part in that violent mob, storming the Capitol and attacking police officers. Inside, Congress was meeting to certify Joe Biden's win in the 2020 presidential election. That came to a sudden stop when rioters entered the Senate chamber and lawmakers ran for cover. More than 700 people have been arrested in the year since. Dozens of them were from the tri-state. Some of the alleged rioters, former cops, firefighters, a former Marine even. And today, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi holding a moment of silence for the Capitol police officers who died after the clashes with the violent mob. That includes New Jersey native Brian Sicknick. He died after suffering strokes. His family was recognized today at an event hosted by House Democrats. News 4 at 5 anchor Adam Cooperstein kicks off our team coverage live in the nation's capital. And Adam, you were there this time last year, so 1 year later, what's changed?
Well, for one, Gilma, the Capitol is now a fortress with a huge fence at the top here blocking the entrance. There are barricades everywhere, police all around, and then there's no angry mob of thousands of people out here. Instead, just a few people mulling around to see what's going on. But there is still a political divide that's very apparent inside this building and even with today's ceremonies as well. It's a day of solemn remembrances at the Capitol.
The pain and scars from that day run deep.
President Biden using his sharpest language yet, putting direct blame for the deadly insurrection that happened there 1 year ago on his predecessor, who continues to falsely claim the 2020 election was fraudulent.
Here's the truth. The former President of the United States of America has created and spread a web of lies about the 2020 election.
The president speaking in Statuary Hall, which was filled a year ago with supporters of former President Trump, clashing with police after they broke in and tried to stop the certification of Biden's election victory.
This wasn't a group of tourists. This was an armed insurrection.
We commend our spirits of fear, anger, and uncertainty.
Later, lawmakers prayed, held a moment of silence, and remembered the police officers who died in the attack's aftermath.
Because of them, Congress was able to defeat the insurrection.
Most Republicans skipped the commemorations, but former Vice President Dick Cheney visited the House floor with his daughter Liz, who's one of the 2 Republicans on the committee investigating the January 6th attack.
Unfortunately, too many in my own party are embracing that former president, are looking the other way, are minimizing the danger.
In one of several falsehood-laden statements issued Thursday by former President Trump, he called the day's events political theater.
I will defend this nation, and I will allow no one to place a dagger at the throat of democracy.
Ramping up his rhetoric, the current president making clear he believes the threat from the insurrection and those who supported it remains serious even today. Now, when I reported here from the Capitol a year ago, it was striking talking to the people that were out here, not just extremists or members of hate groups. There were teachers, firefighters, doctors, and lawyers. And that includes some of our own neighbors in the tri-state. And as that investigation continues, here 1 year later, let's go back inside the newsroom to Chief Investigative Reporter Jonathan Dietz with the latest on the investigation.
Yeah, Adam, since the riot, more than 725 people have been arrested across the country. Many are from our area, including the Hudson Valley and upstate. 1 year later, the FBI is still reviewing photos and videos, trying to identify hundreds more who took part. About a third of those arrested are charged with assaulting police officers or using dangerous or deadly weapons to target police.
USA! USA!
To date, the FBI has arrested 3 people from Connecticut, 21 from New Jersey, and 48 from New York. Among them, former New York police officer Thomas Webster, seen here in the red jacket. Webster is a former Marine who spent 20 years with the NYPD. He's accused of helping lead a charge through a police line, shoving a barricade, and attacking an officer, even ripping off his face mask. Christopher Quaglin of New Brunswick, New Jersey, is currently jailed. He's accused of spraying a chemical irritant into the face of an officer. Neighbors call Quaglin an extremist, and in social media posts 2 weeks before the insurrection, he allegedly showed off a stockpile of weapons in his house. And he allegedly wrote, quote, "Been planning for this." Three upstate New York men, Dominic Pezzola, William Pepe, and Matthew Green, are all admitted members of the Proud Boys. Of the three, Pezzola faces the most serious charges. He's accused of using a plastic shield to break the window of the Capitol to gain entry. Pepe called out sick from work as an MTA employee to take part in the January 6th rally. He has since lost his job for allegedly taking part in the riot.
My beliefs that this election was stolen.
Then there's this man, Brooklyn resident Aaron Mostofsky, son of a state Supreme Court judge. He goes on trial in March after cameras caught him carrying a U.S. Capitol Police riot shield and wearing a bulletproof vest.
The shield, down on the floor.
Daniel Chrisman of Brooklyn was running for a New York State Senate seat at the time. He allegedly told friends that he used a garden hose to climb through a window in the Capitol. And there's Dominic Madden, a New York City sanitation worker. He was arrested after being featured on the cover of the New York Post. He pleaded guilty and will be sentenced next month.
Lawyers for the defendants named in our story did not comment. This is the FBI hunts not only for those who stormed the Capitol, but those who helped orchestrate the violence. And questions remain about what President Trump did or did not do amid the mob's failed attempt to stop the certification of Biden's election win. Gilma?
The investigation far from over. Jonathan, thank you. Our coverage does not end there. Coming up at 5:30, a prayer vigil is going to take place on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. We're going to bring it to you live as soon as it starts in a special report.